Am I the a-hole for not asking my girlfriend's father for permission to marry her? So I feel like the normal situation I read about is the opposite situation, but I personally feel I am in the right here. I, 30M, been dating my girlfriend, 29F, for 4 years now, and things have all in all been pretty good. We both don't see eye to eye politically on many things with her father, but still visit him and her mother fairly frequently around holidays, and he is friendly enough to know to not bring up politics around the both of us, because we don't agree, but I digress. I've talked about proposing to my girlfriend over the past couple months, and about what she wants, etc., and she mentioned she wanted me to ask her dad for permission. I was kind of taken aback by this isn't a normal thing my girlfriend would say. So I asked why. She said because it's something she would like me to do. Her sister's husband did it, and some wedding funding from him would likely be contingent on me doing this. I came back with that I wouldn't be asking another person for permission to marry her. It's an extremely outdated tradition for one, and I'm a 30-year-old person. I can do what I want to do with someone I love. I don't need anyone else's permission. She got mad and said I just needed to do it because it's a small thing to ask for, and she wants some of the money to have a few more things at our wedding that we won't be able to afford without it. I'm continuing to stand my ground about not asking for this. Am I the a-hole? Relevant comments. When told to ask for her father's blessing rather than permission, I suggested this with asking for both parents, and was told that her father will likely want to speak to me alone on it, and won't include the mother if I try to ask with both of them. Again, I don't mind telling them I'm going to do this, but the blatant, you have to ask me, and only me, is what's really off-putting for this. Commenter 1. I'd say you're the a-hole. I can completely understand it being outdated, and I can understand if you end up feeling embarrassed or something by doing it, but she's asking this of you. Being married means that sometimes you compromise on your own comfort to make the other one beyond happy. Also, it's not a bad thing to have financial help towards the wedding, and if asking permission is a way to do that, it's pretty easy. I'll also point out that my husband also contacted my father, but it wasn't, do I have your blessing to marry your daughter, and more, hey, I love your daughter so much I'm going to ask to marry her. It was just more letting him know of his plans, you know? I think that is the route I'll propose with my girlfriend. I just don't like the asking permission part, so like you said, if I phrase it as more of a, I'm doing this and want to let you know because I respect you, I think that will make both sides happy. Thanks for the suggestion. Commenter 2. Do you think her father would use this as an opportunity to lord it over you? Is he the type of person who would take advantage of the situation to try to get you to humble yourself for him? He won't lord it over me, but it's just his personality to be the overprotective father. The typical, I own a shotgun, so treat her right, thing was said when I first met him, so it's always been this way. Update 1. So after reading a lot of the responses in the original thread, I decided to ask for my girlfriend's parents' blessing. I told her I was going to do it, and she was very happy. We were going to visit about 2 weeks after I posted the thread, and I figured it would be a good opportunity to ask. So my fiancé went for a run one morning, and I was lounging around talking with her parents. When I said I'd like to talk to them about something, they both kind of smiled like they knew what I was going to say, and immediately her dad says, "Let's go talk in the garage." So him and I go out there, and I phrase it like some people told me to, I want to marry your daughter, and I'm letting you know that I plan to propose because I love her. I also want to get your blessing because I respect you and your wife. He was pleased with the answer and smiled, and gave his approval for me to propose. All I needed. The proposal went great about a month later. Romantic, and just like I had planned. My fiancé loved it. So this past Sunday, we were discussing venues and the ceremony, and my fiancé casually said, "Well, Dad wants us to get married in this church, so we'll be doing it here." Now, I'm not religious, and I wouldn't mind getting married in a church. But again, why does his opinion matter for our wedding? So I asked, anything else your dad wants for our wedding, and then said we also needed to stay in separate rooms the night before our wedding too per her father. Hilarious since we've been living together for almost 2 years. This led to a massive argument about the wedding, the role of her dad in her life. I told her that up until a couple of months ago, it seemed like she couldn't have cared less about what her dad thought. But would it stop with the wedding? Would it continue on if we had children? Her excuse was that she was ruining her dream wedding and it was contingent on appeasing her father. She didn't understand why I couldn't compromise and get her the extra cash to get her the wedding she had always dreamed of. So I told her, I'm not ready to get married if this is the stance you're going to take with your father, and that did not go over well. The yelling started, and things started being thrown at me, so I left. I called my buddy and went to his place. He gladly let me come over. I've got tons of missed calls from her. Some texts ranging from, I miss you, let's talk it out, to you're an abuser trying to separate me from my family. I just honestly don't know where this behavior is coming from. It's like my fiancé has been taken over by some bridezilla that only cares about having a perfect wedding. I'm just taking time to think about everything and what I want to do next. I'll maybe update again after this. But for now, things aren't looking too great for the future of our relationship. Just trying to keep my head above water. Relevant comments. Downvote a commenter. This guy is a control freak. All the things his fiancé is suggesting are totally normal things that people do. Having a conversation, not even asking permission per se, just having a conversation and getting their blessing with your intended's parents before proposing is totally normal and common. Getting married in a family's church, even if you aren't especially religious, is normal. Most people spend the night before their wedding apart. All totally normal things. These are pretty tame requests from someone who is funding the wedding, and all are things this guy would probably be doing anyway. This dude wants to get into a dick measuring contest with his future FIL, and is pissed that his fiancée isn't deferring to him. Up here. We would have been funding 80% of the wedding. The extra 20% or so were extras that my FIL said he would cover, but only if we fulfilled certain requests. I don't mind doing things that she wants, but I want to say in these things too, especially since we will be paying for a majority of it. When asked if anything new happened, to be completely honest, not much. Wedding is still on hold for the moment. We've had maybe 2 brief phone calls. One where it started out okay, and then it turned into where she couldn't say anything because she was crying so hard. And another brief, one to set up a time and place to just talk things out. I'll maybe update depending on how it goes. I've been mostly trying to pick up OT when I can and focus on work. Easier when I don't have to think about all this other crap. At least I got some away time to play some Hogwarts Legacy, lol. Update 2. Hey all. Been getting quite a few messages asking me how things are going. So I figured I'd give y'all a quick update. The wedding is not happening. We broke up. I've just moved into a new place after staying with a friend for a bit, and am just figuring out life. Just working and staying busy with my golf league. The ex and I tried to make it work for a little while after my update, and I think we both realized that after what had transpired, it wasn't going to work. So that's what I got for you. Not that exciting. But hey, honestly, life is pretty boring most of the time, unlike what most people on Reddit would like you to believe, lol. Update 3. Hey everybody. Kind of forgot about this account, to be honest. I was thinking about this the other day and logged in and had a couple people asking how I was doing. To be honest, not much has changed. I think last I left you, I had just moved into a new place and my ex and I had separated and we had called off the wedding. For about 4 months or so, I didn't have contact with my ex. We just figured it would be best to go our separate ways. I just buried myself in my work and kept it trying to keep my mind off her. But out of the blue, I got a message from her, just asking how I was doing. We ended up texting for a bit over the next couple days, and we ended up deciding we wanted to meet up for a quick round of drinks just to get some closure. Drinks went well, and we continued to text, maybe once every 2 weeks or so. One thing led to another, and a random night, I got a text from her asking to come over to her new place, so I did. We've kept this arrangement going now for a while. No plans on getting back together at all, but it's nice to feel like a normal person every 2 to 3 weeks. So that's really it. Work is good, and I'm thinking about potentially getting back out into the dating world soon. I'll have to end the arrangement with my ex if so, but I think she'll be understanding. Anyways, appreciate you all asking about me. Comments. Commenter 1. Did she ever give any excuse for her behavior back then? Seems kind of wild to go from happy in love Too engaged? To broken up in such a short amount of time? That's a fair question. I didn't get too deep into that. It basically just came down to her wanting the extra cash for the wedding. She was just so hell-bent on having the perfect wedding, and was willing to do anything to get that. She realizes she was wrong now, or at least she says she does. My hesitation is obviously still there, because I don't know if she is truthful or not. Commenter 2. I suppose the real question is then, how would this time be different? If it was to be a reconciliation. In her desire to get money for a wedding, she instead imploded her entire relationship and got no wedding at all. Seems a steep price to pay for a single day. If you started over, would expectations be different? Would her family accept you back into the fold? She seems to have a rather traditional father/family. Would he give his blessing and financial contribution a second time? And if not, would she be okay with that? Do you even want a relationship with a partner's family that is conditional to you following the rules they have? You aren't just marrying a person, you are marrying into a family. So if you are interested in trying to start again, some of these things might need to be considered. I guess I should clarify. When I said get back into dating, I didn't mean with my ex. I think we've both realized the arrangement is convenient for the time being, but I have no intentions of getting into another relationship with her. That trust has been broken. Story 2. 1 year after she cheated. I, 30M, was cheated on by my now ex-wife, 29, a year ago. Here's what happened. Fall of 2023, I lost my job. I was only working 15 hours a week. The rest of the time, I was being a full-time stay-at-home dad. When I had lost my job, she told me we would be fine. She makes good money. And so I thought things would be okay. I took care of the children. I stayed up with them at night. If they woke up, she came home every day to a clean house. I noticed her acting differently. One day I got the courage to look at her phone. I didn't want to invade her privacy, but I found out her friend and her had been sexting, talking shit about me behind my back, talking about how I was worthless because I wasn't providing for my family. She never brought any of these issues up with me. So when I confronted her, she told me she was going to divorce me if I remained unemployed. So I got another job. She told this guy it was over, and I thought that was that. December of 2023 comes, and we decided to get drunk one night and reconnect. At this point, we hadn't been intimate in over a year. She spends most of the night on her phone talking to another guy who she said, "Don't worry about Jim, he's just a friend." She drank too much. We didn't do anything, she went to bed. As I'm cleaning, I check her phone. The "just a friend" and her have been hardcore sexting all night, right in front of me. I mean, like very detailed messages of what they would do to each other, and pictures and videos were sent, which explained why she went to the bathroom so much. I woke her up and confronted her. She denied it, then said she thought she was texting me all night, then tried to offer me sex, and I just left. Things were tense for a while. She, a few weeks later, admitted she fucked up and then blamed it on me not having a job for those 3 months I was unemployed. New Year's Eve, we finally had sex again. Told each other 2024 was going to be the year we fixed ourselves. Was that far from the truth? We spent January, February, and March having sex once a week, going on dates, exploring our sexual needs more, and I thought things were going great. In April, she hit me with a curveball. She told me she was unhappy with life, with our kids, with our job, and with our marriage. I asked her to talk. I asked her to go to counseling with me, and she said no. She wanted to just get away for a week and think. Now, another point to put in, around March, we talked about opening up the marriage to the point of having a threesome and to having us sleep with someone else. I wasn't really for it. I have jealousy problems, but she was pushing me. She pushed me to agree with a threesome, and then she pushed me to agree to her fucking another man. I told her no, but she said one night I was drunk and said yes, and that meant she could. So she met this guy, a 23-year-old off Snapchat, and left for a week in June to spend the week with this, just a friend, and she had sex with him. She told me, in painful detail, what they did together. How much bigger he was than me. How much more her pleased her. So when she came back from the trip, she told me she was done with our marriage. After she came back, I found receipts she kept that showed the sex toys they bought. I found a photo strip of them kissing. I found a love letter. My heart broke more and more, and she, to this day, claims she didn't cheat. All because we had talked about opening up the marriage a bit. I told her how I was not comfortable with any of it, and she did it anyways. She still doesn't know how scary the internet can be, and that I have the video recording of them inside the photo booth in some mall making out and telling each other, I love you. Mind you, they had only known each other for a month. And that entire week, she was gone. I was home, being the parent I have been for 4 years. Our youngest had a fever of 102 for a day and a half that week. She didn't care. In July of 2024, she brought him out here to spend the week with him again, and by August of 2024, the divorce was filed. I had moved out, and her new boyfriend, the 23-year-old she chested on me, that she had known for only 3 months now, had moved 14 hours to live with her and out 2 toddlers. Trust me, that made things get ugly with the divorce. Now, a year later, she blames me for everything. She told me all the cheating was because I didn't work for those 3 months. When I called her out on that, she said that it stemmed from the last few years. She told me she hadn't loved me in years. She told me so many hurtful things. She constantly blames me for all her problems. And I wanted none of this. All I wanted was her. So here we are, a year later. Her boyfriend and her broke up right before Christmas. Thank God that Pratt is gone. Our divorce finalized at the end of May. So that's my story. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.